All right, it is 6:02. I'd like to call to order the February 10th Conservation Commission meeting. The meeting is being recorded. Are there any public concerns or non-agenda items? Seeing that no one is here, we'll say no. Public hearings. We have a public hearing that was continued from December 9th for the bundled City of Easthampton for various orders of conditions, non-exempt maintenance activities. That's being
continued.
I think that's continued from January 27th.
Yeah, I think did not update that.
We have a motion to continue it to our next meeting.
Motion to continue to the next meeting, which is
The 24th.
February 24th at 6 p.m.
Is there a second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Whittemore.
Aye.
Just kidding.
He's not even here.
He's
I'm absent without notice.
all right.
All right. Enforcement actions, CFM Properties LLC on 10 O'Neill Street.
I haven't had an update yet. I'll reach out to him for the next meeting, I think. Give him a little more time.
There isn't an EO number yet.
No, we didn't elevate it to that level yet. We didn't send anything to DEP because they were really responsive just from the letter.
Right, and they may submit their own plan for whatever. Cernak, Westview Terrace, map 165, lot 47.
No updates.
No updates. Kaufman, 298 Loudville Road.
No, oh, actually, yes, an update. So, yeah, February is when they were supposed to say, they were saying that they were going to probably come before the commission with their plan for the, I think it was a living wall, was what they
Right.
had described before. I don't know if that's still the case or not. Obviously, it could be different. But I spoke with Ed Severance, who was the representative today, and he said that he's meeting with the engineer to finalize the plans tomorrow. And they're going to get back to me after that. Once they should be able to formulate a solid timeline for the permitting once they meet tomorrow. But he was thinking that they probably won't be able to make the other February meeting because he's going to be away during that time period. So it'll probably be the March meeting, well, it should be. So I'll get more information for the next meeting for sure.
All set.
So, do we need to formally extend that time frame, or is this like an informal time frame we're acting under?
I'm
I
not
don't
really sure.
remember.
This original time frame that I had listed was just from them. This is the time frame they got me. I think it was more that we just needed to have a time frame from them that saying that they were going to do. I mean, I would say that if I wasn't able to contact them at all, then I would have said we need to send another letter out
Okay.
and possibly elevate it. But since they're informing us what's
Responding,
going on,
yeah.
I think it's okay.
So he won't be able to make the 24th
That's correct.
as the next meeting, okay.
But the commission will expect information prior to the first meeting in March.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, St. Bridget's Cemetery, Our Lady of the Valley Parish, Everett Street.
No updates.
On properties, rear 161, 165 Northampton Street.
No updates.
And Gall property, 37 South Street.
No updates.
All right, open space updates. Echodale West Orchard improvements.
Right, so last meeting I said that I found out that Andrew Morrison was no longer with
Right.
LSI, and that's true, it's still the case, but he did message me, send me an email saying that even though he's no longer with them, since he was the primary manager of the project, he wants to attend whatever meeting that we have in the spring.
Okay.
We're gonna have a meeting to try to get back on track, and he's gonna go. So
That's
we have
great.
that piece of information is still there.
And that was Andrew, right?
Andrew Morrison, we haven't scheduled a meeting yet though.
No problem.
But there are others at LSI who can fix
Yeah,
it.
yep, he said the two other people, which I don't know if they've opened for like operations yet, if it's still their winter closing or not, but he did attach two other people to that email he sent to me, and he just had put out there that he'll go to the meeting and we should work with their schedules, these two other people, but they haven't responded yet to that email, so I don't know if it's just because like they're not in the office. Not sure.
Lathrop Community, Lawrence Road.
No update.
Good.
All right, compliance updates. Pleasant Street Mills,
No update.
Lathrop Community again, invasive plant management.
No update.
Wilson Northampton School, cross-country running trail improvements.
No update.
City of Easthampton National Water Pond, vegetation management.
No update.
Loven Properties off of O'Neill Street.
Yeah, I didn't receive any new reports.
Okay.
Inspection reports. I think that's probably because I think at the last meeting, Mark was able to tell us that they're almost done. They plan to complete in the spring.
Well, I think they got back onto the project, but I haven't been on the site, but they're planning on building a building and
Right.
various things, so I didn't see that activity happening.
Okay, I'll reach out to Mark because
Okay.
sometimes I didn't get a chance to do it today because sometimes he'll send them at the day of.
Right.
But it never happened. So I'll see if maybe it was just no work or what the deal is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a pretty good precipitation event, like last week or something like that. I sort of lost
Okay.
track of it all, but we should still be getting like, if they have been doing work in soils this year.
They have been doing
Yeah.
work on the roadway and piling materials, but yeah, reach out to Mark and
Okay, I can definitely do that.
sure.
Yep.
All right, City of Easthampton, Whitebrook, Broadbrook, maintenance for dredging.
No updates.
Holistic Industries on 155 Northampton Street, site improvements, parking lot, stormwater management.
That one doesn't need to be on there anymore.
Yeah, we can take that 'cause
I
we-
sent the COC.
okay.
Yeah.
So we can take that off.
Good.
All right, One Industrial Loft LLC, 1 Ferry Street, Track 1 and Track 2.
So we did a site visit. Let's see. It's on the 30th of
Okay.
January. And the erosion controls looked good. And I have the latest SWIP reports as well from Mike Nishan. So if anyone wants to take a look at those, but otherwise it looked pretty under control.
Is he
Yeah.
the stormwater compliance monitor?
I think so. Yep.
Did Melissa agree with his resume that he sent in out? And we didn't,
I think last meeting I read
she
off
okay?
his,
Okay.
and she seemed to be okay with it.
He's not the, what's his relationship to the project though?
I think he's also like the owner.
he's a property
Yeah.
owner.
So he can do the,
I don't know. We can, I mean, if you guys wanna, it's 25 feet of waddle.
Yeah, it's just.
So it's however you guys wanna go about it. It's up to you.
that's the only question I have.
Yeah, that's a good
He's gonna be
question.
the monitor, but he's the owner of the project?
Yeah, well, I don't know, he's beholden to submit these reports, I suppose, if anything does go wrong. I'm not sure.
I'll defer to
I mean,
the
SWIP reports
experts.
would frequently be submitted by the owner of a facility. It's not unusual,
Okay.
Is
right?
that normal?
Yeah, it's on the owner's behalf regardless of who's actually doing it.
And his credentials, he was some kind of lead building certified, and it's silly, I had it listed on here and I just deleted it off my sheet
Right.
today, but.
There's nothing in the minutes from last time that says we approved him to do it, so, but
okay.
we can deal with that when Melissa's back and make sure that she's comfortable with it.
Okay.
I guess the other thing, never mind, forget.
I don't know. That's not a conflict of interest, but regardless, I'm gonna step out for this next discussion.
Okay.
All right, Easthampton Park Solar 1 LLC, 232 Park Street.
Yep.
Large-scale solar project.
I did the pre-construction meeting on the 6th of February, and all the pre-construction conditions were met. I received all the
Okay.
documents I need beforehand, and all the erosion controls were in place. The only thing they haven't done is the permanent markers. They put wooden stakes in where they're going to go, and they're going to put them in as they go.
Okay.
Essentially, the actual stakes themselves, and they're just going to use rebar stakes. And let's see, there was one other thing. They're going to schedule another site visit before they begin the farther section, because there's the first chunk of solar panels, and then there's an even deeper into the woods another section. All the erosion controls are in place, but it's just going to be a while after, so I kind of wanted to recheck once they get to that section.
Is this the project on one side of the stream, basically, that they're going to start first?
Yep,
Okay,
yeah.
On the street side of the water.
Yeah, so there's the entrance from Park Street,
Right.
and then there's a culvert,
Mhm.
then there's the first clearing area,
Right,
then
okay.
there's another crossing.
Right.
With
Then
another
that's
clearing
That's the
area.
other
Yeah.
second phase.
Mhm. And then they also had another question that I was wondering what you guys would think about it, is that they were wondering if they could use, and they said that they've done this on other sites where they grind the trees up in their entirety. They leave the roots, obviously, but whatever they do cut down, they grind it in its entirety on site, and then they were wondering if they could spread that over the cleared area as a way to, what was it, kind of be like the first layer. Once the area is cleared, they lay that all down around it,
Okay.
and then they'll put the other soils and seedings and hydro seedings will have it on top of all of that. But they were saying that maybe similar to how if an area is exposed, you can throw mulch down,
Mhm.
but it's not technically mulch because it will have leaf material in it.
Right.
They didn't know if that would be too similar to slash, because they know in the conditions
We've
explicitly
never
says no
approved
slash.
Something like that before.
I don't know if we have, definitely they would need to get all invasives out of it, because there's a ton of bittersweet and things
Right.
in there, and if you
Okay.
chop that up, you're just
Spread
gonna
it
spread the
all over,
problem.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
And I have a feeling that would probably be more trouble for them than it's worth to
Mm.
sort those.
Okay.
But I would start by making that clear, and then if they still want to do it, we can discuss further.
Makes sense. And yeah, the area they were planning to spread it out was, I don't have the plans in front of me, but there's an area where that's fenced where the solar panels are, and then south of that, just before the section where it's just going to be trimmed from 20 feet down,
Okay.
that's where they were going to spread this
I see.
material. So I can ask them about the invasive component, because if it's just the trees, then maybe the trees won't have invasives on them.
Trees
or
will
what's-
have bittersweet wrapped
Probably
and
will,
wrapped
yeah.
twined
around.
through
Okay.
them.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I distinctly remember that about that site. There's
Okay.
a lot of it.
Okay. Yeah, they said it was no problem to remove the material from the site, as it says in the order of conditions for some general slash. So, yeah, I don't think it should be a problem to just tell them, for them to decide to just not do it either way. So we'll see.
All right, River Valley Co-op, 228 Northampton Street.
Right, so they're also getting ready to do their pre-construction meeting. That one is scheduled for the 19th of February, 1 p.m. It's a Wednesday. I've gotten most of the pre-construction materials. Some of them they're just going to bring to the meeting. And
Is the meeting being held on site?
I believe so,
Okay.
yeah. And I know some of you have seen, probably those erosion controls are up. I haven't gone out to
Yeah,
check
I
them
haven't,
yet.
I just saw them driving by, but I
Right.
didn't drive into the parking lot and look at them or walk the perimeter, so,
Yeah, so that one's coming up, and make sure they have all their ducks in a row.
okay. City of Easthampton for the pump house demolition,
No updates.
and we were just waiting for better spring weather so they can fix the roadway and plant things.
That's right, yeah. They're saying, last time they said work will resume in March/April.
Okay. City of Easthampton roadway improvements and maintenance of Ferry Street.
No updates.
So this is where I was gonna raise my hand
Yes.
earlier. I guess I'm just wondering, so it won't be, even though it's right there, it won't be the same SWIP inspection, SWIP inspector looking at that, right? So we
Because I don't think
actually,
Mike's responsible for that intersection. He's just taking responsibility for the
Yeah.
for the Ferry Street property.
Yep, exactly. And it seems like the roadway parts of that project are what have the potential to get kind of the
Right.
scunkiest from a stormwater perspective.
Right, because we did that site, and we talked about it at the site visit that we did for the 25-foot, the other property. But yeah, it's not related, so there's the, right along the water there, they're putting in that, I want to say it's a silt truck or something?
Yeah, they did that near the
They did that,
ponds.
and I'm not sure when they're going to begin. But
Well, there has been some activity, but not real aggressive, but no one sent us anything from any rainfall reports or anything like
No,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think at the last meeting minutes, we said it wasn't clear if a SWIP was required for that project or not.
Oh.
But to me, it seems like it's all sort of part of one, like, common plan, so it should, you know, probably should be all covered under the same SWIP, I would
Okay.
think. I mean, not knowing the details about it.
Right, so maybe you're saying reach out to Mike and ask him to expand, once it becomes appropriate to do so, inspecting that area?
Well-
He's not doing the work on that. It's a
Yeah.
whole separate construction company that's doing the work on the intersection of the roadway, so.
Right, so that's the city's project, right? Do we know, like, is there a contractor for that? Do we
Yeah,
know?
we had talked to the contractor at the time we were doing the inspection, and
In October.
yeah, someone was being chosen for that purpose, but then it may have
I'll
not.
follow up with them and see.
I don't know if we had a name. There was a foreman or someone that I thought was going to do it, but I don't know
Yep.
if we had a name for.
It'd be easy to miss that because it's such like a complex site with different entities doing different things.
Right.
But that's sort of like, you know, given that there's catch basins in the roadway, and it's probably going to be pretty opened up and pretty constrained. And
There's a lot of slope there too.
Yeah.
Makes it like that.
yeah.
What was the discussion about why it might not be necessary, the size of the disturbance, or?
I don't think we really got into it. I think we just
But they still should have a monitor, right, for rainfall events, even though there's
Yeah,
no.
if they don't have a SWIP, they would
If
have.
there's not a
a
SWIP, they need to have someone monitoring for large rain events.
Yeah, so I wasn't involved in the discussion for that. I think either one of the permits actually sound like less up to speed on the details. But I mean, our wetlands protection permits almost always include, you know, a
Right.
monitor. So somebody should be nominating one at some point. Yeah, regardless of whether or not it's a nifty stormwater thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess, do we even know if that permit's been recorded or anything like that?
Or the registry of deeds or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I can check. I assume so,
Yeah.
but-
There's been ground disturbance already.
Right, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, there's been some minor disturbance,
Yep,
but it looks like they're getting ready to go.
yep. I feel like we've glossed over this one in past meetings, but it's,
Well, now things are starting to happen, so I
Yeah.
think we
Yeah.
need to.
Okay.
all right.
All right, Beacon Solar LLC, a large-scale solar project located at 50 Florence Road.
I don't know if we can answer this now, but I did receive an email of them asking, so you remember that there was the question of the bill for GZA, who did the peer review
Right.
there? And I did process the payment for the original agreed amount. I think it was 5,500 or something, at least 5,000. And then there was the additional amount that went over that was contested, and we kind of just said we would get back to it, and I received an email from GZA asking, like, are we gonna do it or not? So, I just didn't know if you guys had any opinions on that, or now, or if we should hold off and figure it out later,
Did we go back? We went back and looked.
I did. It was still
What was the outcome?
seems unclear. I mean, the minutes don't speak to it explicitly, and I watched the meetings as well, and I didn't see anything that explicitly said that,
We were agreeing to additional.
yeah, or not agreeing to it, because I think it was something about, we're gonna we'll go back and do this too, and I think maybe everyone just assumed, like, they assumed that they were gonna get paid for doing this extra thing that got asked, and we assumed that we weren't. I'm not really sure, but it wasn't It wasn't explicitly
There was
clear.
no discussion of additional fee, period.
There was no like fee discussion, yeah.
Yeah. How, I guess, in my mind, did so the solar developer would have paid into an account or something
Mhm.
to compensate GZA with,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So I would assume that they didn't pay for more than what
Exactly.
we contracted for. So if we were to, so I don't know if we would have a means to pay that GZA
Right.
invoice, and I guess I don't think we had, it was never under contract for sure, so.
Okay.
It almost seems like they would need to approach it with the applicant. Because that's where the money would have to come from.
Right.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I think the contract is with us, so it's pretty complicated, and it's.
Yeah.
I don't think we knew that we were asking them to do extra work for extra cost, or at
Right.
least I don't remember knowing. that we-
Right, no, because
Yeah.
we've talked about
Yeah.
it before, that the reason we selected them was because it was lump sum,
Yep.
and it was a guaranteed price.
Oh,
So I think the answer is we have no way to pay it, and that they should,
okay.
But I don't know. You might check with the city's procurement officer just real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Easthampton School Committee 151-305 for construction of new school building and associated parking, driveways, utilities, stormwater, track.
Right, so there's two things with this. At the last meeting, there was a lot of concern because they didn't have the NPDES number, ID number, which is associated with the SWIP, and
Okay.
it was more just a misunderstanding is that the environmental monitor, the person who's sending me the reports, just hadn't gotten that number from the Fontaine construction company that is in charge of the SWIP. So the construction company is doing the SWIP reports, and then the environmental monitor is a separate person who I guess hadn't really dealt with that before, and so he just didn't get the number from them. But I received the SWIP way back in January before construction even began, so they're definitely in compliance with that and having it be official. So I have the number now, it's involved in the reports that they sent me, if you want to see them, so that should be okay. And the other thing is that Dan reached out to me today and told me that you had a concern about the erosion controls in a certain area that was kind of north of the parking area. If I
Correct.
remember correctly, yeah.
Yep.
And I communicated with Matt, the environmental monitor, about that, and he said that they're in the process of reworking the erosion controls there. Just because nothing was actively, I think, overflowing or going crazy. It was just that there was a concern that what they had in place wasn't necessarily going to be enough, just because it's a huge amount of displaced soil, like
So
it's
this
a
is
mountain.
closer
yeah.
on to Park.
No, farther,
Right.
towards the school.
Towards
Down
the
by the
school,
school,
okay.
the
Yeah.
north parking lot. Yeah, there's a large soil stockpile, and they've sort
Okay.
of removed the pavement from half the parking lot.
I see,
So
okay.
they've got a lot of equipment going in and out, and the only control there is just like a silt sack and a catch basin.
Okay.
There's no-
So let me show you, I went there today also after, like, I waited till like kind of the end of the day, but we still had light, so to see if they maybe put anything there. And I don't know, what it looked like before, but I was wondering if this was like an improvement to what you had seen before, or if I was even looking in the right area. Did they put, were the Jersey berries and stuff there before, or?
Oh. Yeah, so before,
Which here, let me scroll this way, because there might be
Yeah.
an area that kind of more representative of the, because this is kind of the area you're talking about, right, with the big hole?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
And so the Jersey berries are just to the right of what you're looking at.
Yeah, so actually from the parking lot, you couldn't see that there was a big hole there, but
Okay.
right coming on this side of this photo, there are the Jersey barriers,
Yep.
and like maybe it's just material being tracked onto the parking lot
Gotcha.
from equipment going back and forth, and maybe that was what I saw running off. So maybe it's not that big a deal if the runoff from the stockpiles sort of goes into the hole, but
Okay.
Well, I can take it right over and
yeah.
climb up there and take a look at it.
Yeah, but they could probably use an anti-tracking apron or something.
All right, cool. Well, either way, they're definitely like they're looking at it, and I don't know if they made any big changes since when you were there or not yet, but
Okay.
It's on
But the
their radar.
barriers they put up that we requested the last visit towards Park Street, does that go to the property line? It seemed like they just stopped 3/4 of the way.
Closer to one, like if you went from the school going up. So it stops, but it curves up and around and creates like a J hook. Like if here's all the rotary work. It like,
Remember
comes
we
around.
requested for them to go around the wetlands?
Oh, to protect that.
Yeah, but it seemed like if you're looking at it from Park Street, it just stops like 3/4 of the way up, doesn't go all the way down.
And you think they're doing work above that could still run past it?
Yeah,
Okay.
and around the other side.
Well, if I go over here, I'll take a look at that
Yeah.
also.
I just thought it would go all the way down and go around the whole front of the wetlands.
Well, I think when we looked at it, we thought it had gone far enough where it was going to contain whatever work they were doing. But if they're doing work further towards the center of town,
Yeah,
along
they're
Park,
working past it, so I just thought that was kind of weird.
I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, when you drive by, just take a look. Just didn't look right, but not a big deal.
Yeah, and you can just send me an email.
Sure.
If it looks good or not, and then I can go back to them, so. And I don't know if any of you want the environmental monitor's number, if you want to call, because he on the phone had said that, well, maybe it'd be easier if he was contacted directly from the person who saw it, but I definitely am fine with being the interim person. That's totally
Yeah.
fine with me. I didn't even think about providing you that information
Yeah, well,
directly.
let's just take a look at it first and try to
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, just for
see if
future
it-
stuff.
see if it makes sense.
Yeah, but, yeah, like.
I don't have time for that. It's
Yeah,
easy for me to
that's-
just say, I think there's a problem, somebody go figure it out.
Exactly. I think that's totally, that's what I'm here for, so it's all good.
If there's no problem, there's no problem.
Cool.
I have a small request, Dan.
Uh-huh.
Minutes, enforcement actions?
Minutes enforcement actions?
Yeah.
From what?
Put the EO number?
They don't all have one.
No. I can tell you what they are. I don't know what CFN property one
They
is.
don't have one yet. We didn't send anything out.
Water properties?
I don't, yeah, so some of them, the way that I've been going about it is you reach out to them first and just try to seek compliance. And if they're non-compliant, then you take it up and send out an initiative enforcement.
I'm just trying to match the agenda. There's an
Oh,
EO, but it's not in the minutes. That's all.
EO 2006-01, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
16.
Yeah, that. Good thing it's not 2006.
So that goal one's 2013. That's not the year of the enforcement action, is it?
That's when we first started doing that numbering system. That's been hanging around forever, actually.
So next steps?
I'm not sure.
That one's out of our hands, isn't it? South Street. Or no, that's not the same one.
I think so the problem with that one is that our collective recollection has fallen away, and our access to old information has also fallen away.
He like
Files
moved
that's
a
gone.
stockpile a little bit, I think, right? And we were like, okay. That was where he was stockpiling dirt, I think.
Yeah, it
By the
was-
bike path?
Right, near the
previously.
bike path.
And I think he moved it, and we're like, okay, it's out of buffer zone.
Yeah.
Oh,
But he
so
also
maybe-
had firebush plants up towards that building that he had planted, and there was other
Yeah.
areas of the 37 that we had toured around on.
I think he,
But he did move the pile that we requested out of the area that we requested, so.
So next meeting, we want to get rid of it or talk about it?
Well, maybe we should look at the file again and
Yeah, I'll take a look and see what I can.
yeah.
here's a picture of it.
So I think like, there was, I believe there was clearing in the riverfront area. Oh my gosh, how did you make that appear out of thin
Yeah.
air?
Why do you just have that? You're older.
Well, you guys are gonna ask. But there was also things happening up by that pond where he was clearing to clear the, like there's some kind of access for water, right?
Yeah.
Well,
So South Street is down this way.
South Street by your neighborhood? That South Street?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. So this is, the Saranax property is on the other side of South Street, and the river stream that the beavers keep locking up is to the
here's a rail
south.
trail there.
And then,
Okay.
yeah, there's the rail trail, yep. So I think these areas, I think he cleared some areas in riverfront
Probably this.
and
In this
buffer.
emergency overflow area, he was clearing that in buffer zone.
And I think he cleared this area too, well, or it was planted with burning bush anyways, and so he had to remove that.
He
Is
removed
there
some
a
burning
dam
bush.
here?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
That right here, yeah. And then he actually built this building without any permits.
Permitting. That's not our jurisdiction.
Right, right.
Well, it's in the riverfront area.
Right, but I'm saying, okay, that's true. The permit
Yeah.
is, the location is.
So I think he did some restoration planting stuff and moved the burning bush, and I think we were expecting like, compliance updates or reports or whatever, and we just haven't gotten anything.
Okay, so what do you think? Should I reach out to him? Do you think they would be
Let's talk to
successful,
Melissa
or-
next meeting and
Okay.
decide
Yeah.
whether we should
Okay.
take it off or
Pursue
go
it.
further.
Yeah.
He had-
I'm so old.
He had Berkshire Design involved, and there was an attorney working for him that was involved, and I think he just, I don't know, maybe he thought he was done,
Sure. I can check, see what we have in the files and see what the last information we got on it was. And Jeff might know about it too if there was bad stuff going on, so.
But no one's doing anything about the building being where it is or
Yeah.
it not being permitted.
Hmm.
It just kind of was dropped.
Well, it definitely predates Jeff if it's 2013.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
He may know about it just because
Yeah. Right.
it's one of those things that.
Investigative site meetings and our,
Yeah, right.
Okay, cool.
This is an open enforcement action, though, we can go on the site and look around, right?
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Theoretically. Anywho,
All set? All right, City of Easthampton maintenance activities, including spreading of gravel and for potholes on river streets.
No updates. So, yeah, so I have some other items to tell you about, unless we
Sure.
can do meeting minutes first. I mean, yeah, maybe do everything on the agenda.
Well, do the meeting minutes need to be tuned up a little bit? You were talking about how
Well, I
early.
haven't received Melissa's edits yet, so I don't know I know I've gotten some feedback about edits to them, but I haven't generated anything yet. I didn't know if you guys wanted to wait for Melissa's edits, or how do you want to do
This
this?
seems to be
I'm
yes.
okay with that, yeah, it's not urgent that we approve
Okay.
them.
yep.
And you wanted to have the EOs added? Is that?
for this meeting.
Yep. Can we do the minutes from the 13th?
Let's see, so, yeah, there's kind of, I'm kind of confused with the minutes. So this one said for the 13th that there was needed changes, but they would be approved at the next meeting, and I kind of was waiting for Melissa again to send those ones, and I didn't know, so I haven't heard an edited version by her yet. So I can make the changes, if you guys are cool with it, I'll make the changes and go from there, but.
The only note I had was you were going to review the tape to see who seconded some
Oh, right, okay.
some
All right,
item.
that's my bad.
But I don't know if there's anything else. All right. So we'll table that, I guess.
Sorry, you have to do that.
Oh, it's okay.
And then I blamed something on Julie last week. That apparently was not her either.
I guess I did it from my couch at home. It wasn't me.
So Cassie, you have other things you want to hit?
Yeah, let's see. So the first one I had on here, well, actually, I'll do it in this order. So this is just all other business. I got an email from William Simmons, who works at ATC, about apparently they're working with Mass DEP because at 28 Water Lane, there was a spill. Mass DEP got a call about oil residue appearing near this property. And when they went to go inspect it, this person from ATC with Mass DEP, they went on the 22nd of January. And this is the email he sent me, and I'm just gonna read it to you because there's a lot of details about it. But Mass DEP responded to the residential property located at 28 Water Lane in Easthampton, based on a call from the Easthampton Fire Department regarding the potential release of fuel oil at the residence. ATC discovered an abandoned approximately 550-gallon capacity fuel oil underground storage tank.
Just 1 second.
That was a lot.
Storage tank, what was down there? I didn't get there.
I think it's just a residence now. Yeah. Oh, I don't know what it was before.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so an abandoned 550,000 gallon.
No,
550 gallon tank. Okay.
Gallon capacity fuel oil underground storage tank. UST, I guess it's good.
5.5 million gallons of what?
Trillion.
Yep.
So it's located
Is it right by
outside.
the boat launch?
Boat launch is over here, and this is that big long building that's right up on the street.
So the tank is located on the outside southeastern portion of the home. So
Yeah.
Sorry, say that last bit again? Southeast?
Yeah, southeastern portion of the home is where the
This is the
property.
boat ramp right here. So that's the
Is
house.
this the
that
brick
Or the
colored
home.
house?
So
No.
right
It's the
outside the
little
home,
portico.
southeastern
Okay.
portion.
Where's 141? Right there.
Okay, so a hand auger soil boring investigation performed by ATC determined that an unknown amount of fuel oil, had likely seeped through the basement stone wall into a perimeter trench drain located in the basement that was used to collect rainwater and/or groundwater, and then discharge it via an underground drain pipe to the northwest corner of the basement. 55 feet towards the rear grass and wooded area of the property to a drain outfall point. And I think the drain outfall point is actually located off the outside of the property, technically on the neighbor's property. Yeah.
Oh, this gets messy. Real fast.
Yep. So that's another question that I'll ask at the end. So, further investigation revealed oil-impacted soil at the trench drain outfall discharge point in a grass area and within a portion of the woods. And this outfall drain at its closest point is approximately 105 feet from the pond's edge. We determined the fuel oil impacted soil is present up to approximately 25 feet from the drain outfall point towards the pond, which is approximately 80 feet from the pond edge. So, as part of the assessment, investigation, and remediation plan, we are working with Mass DEP and may involve the homeowner's insurance company. We may need to excavate this impacted soil to approximately 36 to 40 inches deep in an approximately 4 to 6 foot wide area. The drain outfall is actually just off of 28 Water Lane property boundary and on the neighbor's property, so the excavation would actually occur off of the 28 Water Lane property. There is no observed impact to the pond by ATC, the fire department, or Mass DEP. Mass DEP assigned release tracking number is, I don't know if you want me to tell you, right, the tracking number?
Yep.
The tracking number is 1-002-1025.
1-002/.
No, it's just 1-002 1025.
1025, okay, got it.
So that's tracking number, and Mass DEP determines that assessment activities would be performed in an immediate response action in the IRA. An approved excavation and offsite disposal of up to 50 cubic yards of contaminated soil. So the question becomes, what permitting is required on our end? Is it an emergency certification? Is it, whatever it needs to be. Also, I don't know who to issue it to if the excavation itself is not exclusively occurring on 28 Water Lane, but the storage tank itself, the source of it, is on 28 Water Lane.
It would be the location of the disturbance,
Mhm.
right? So if that's both properties, then it would need to be issued at both, I think.
Okay. And would that be two different emergency certifications or one that references both? I don't know what the rules are.
That, I don't know. I think you could do one that references both.
Okay.
Just, what pond are we talking about?
National Water.
National Water
National
Ponds.
Right by the boat.
Yeah, it's like right over there.
Yes, a couple properties north of the boat launch.
I was thinking water lanes down by the Manhand, over by the fish ladder for some reason. Okay.
I mean, it sounds like they're gonna be in buffer zone, but they're not gonna be, well, they're in riverfront, but, so there'll need to be a restoration plan.
Is there a river, or is it just the pond?
It's just the pond in that area. There's nothing showing on the map or the city GIS map.
And it sounds like Mass DEP is, part of their assessment is there's going to be, what do you say? I think they're working with the remediation plan, so I think it's already in the works for there to be some kind of remediation, but I don't know if that includes like restoration, but I think it sounds like there's
Remediation would be
woods,
removal of the soil,
but not like
but not
replanting.
necessarily
Okay.
the restoration of
Okay.
the site.
Same
Did you-
homeowner? The property sold or anything? Or?
I think he was saying that there currently is an elderly woman working there, living there, and I don't know if she's like moved or if she's a new resident or anything. Didn't sound like it to me.
What did you say the volume of soil?
They were saying that they were going to have to do, I don't know what the volume was, but it was an approximately 36 to 44 inch deep, 4 by 6 foot wide area, 4 to 6 foot wide area.
And
There
it
was
was
like
at
a
least
range.
25 feet long, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
So
25 feet long,
4 to 600 cubic feet.
wide, and
Did I do
then
that right?
36 to 40 inches deep.
Yep. Yep.
Get your calculators out.
It's actually not that much soil.
Yeah.
No.
So we're thinking an emergency certification.
Yeah, I guess would they have time to act under? So an emergency certification for a MCP thing can get 60 days, can it? I think.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm asking, I think there's something about that, like most emergency certifications are only 30 days, but
Right.
if it's I think if it's related to something like this, then it could get up to 60 days, but I don't know if that's an extension or the,
When do they intend to do the work is the next question. Do they need to wait for the ground to thaw? Can they do this immediately?
He didn't say. I can ask.
Yeah.
That is relevant too.
Yeah.
If it's something where they have to wait until spring to deal with it,
Okay.
then it wouldn't be an emergency cert anymore. They'd need to file. But if they can go out tomorrow and do what needs done, I think it makes sense to do it as an emergency cert.
And so if they do an emergency certification, should we just put language in there saying they should come back once the excavation is done, come back and work with us for the restoration plan? And then, because they might not have a restoration plan available yet, or we need to wait to do the excavation until they have that available and show it to us, or I'm not sure how that works.
I mean, I guess if it was I think you said if it was a wooded area or grass.
Partially.
Partially into the woods.
Uh-huh. I guess I would think under an emergency certification we can ask for like a certain level of restoration, like, plant grass and one tree or something.
Okay.
If they could propose that or whatever, I don't know.
That was from DEP?
It was from ATC who's working with DEP.
Oh. Can we ask Mark?
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't remember a case where we've had an emergency cert where there was a restoration component needed.
Yeah, I've done one for work before, but we just kind of like worked it out with the commission. Yeah.
Is there a place on that form to have conditions? I'm not sure that there is.
Well, you can, what was it? I did something in Greenfield where you can say, yeah, there is a place for conditions. Like one of the ones in Greenfield was our removal of a beaver dam, and we said, you know, no equipment connected to the water, something like that. So you can have conditions, but it's not a huge space to do it. I don't know if it makes sense to have the restoration be something that they need to tell us before they get started, or if we can say, come see us after, so we can do that. Because I don't know, I don't want, if it's something they say that they need to do like right away.
Yeah, I think we could do it as a, you know, within X time frame, you need to come back to us with a restoration plan and
Okay.
approve it.
Okay.
Right.
Last time a property sold was 1995, and it stayed within the family, so it's no activity.
Yeah, a lot of that area is people that have been there for a
Yeah.
long time.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So the next one, I got a notification from Eversource about work they believe to be exempt that they're going to be doing on their right of way. And I don't know if you want me to read you the whole thing, but it was for right of way WT-21 and right of way D4 for the electric transmission. And they're going to be doing, they're going to be clearing all incompatible woody vegetation that is greater than 12 feet tall this growing season to maintain floor easement right-of-way width. But woody vegetation is removed all around pole, tower structures, guide wires, gates/barriers, and all off-road access roads. Incompatible woody vegetation is removed 30 feet back from primary road crossings and/or right-of-way wooden barrier. All woody vegetation shall be mowed or chipped and removed from the right-of-way. The other thing they're going to be doing is pruning and hazard tree removal is required to comply with vegetation management clearance program requirements for ensuring that vegetation does not contact or encroach within minimum distances of the energized transmission system. Our current cycle requires that this pruning be performed once every 10 years. All planned work is reviewed in advance, and all tree removal beyond the limits of the right-of-way easement are discussed with property owners prior to the performance of the work. And they kind of have like a little diagram here, and
Where's that near?
let's see, so they have a map. But it's oh, here we go. So it's up in the north, maybe all right here. So T21 is over here. It kind of extends into D4.
Oh, by the
So it's right by the river.
We're way up here, this
Yeah,
right here?
mhm.
Okay.
And this falls under their existing.
The
Act
act
plan.
says that maintenance work for right-of-ways and utility lines usually is exempt.
But they also have a operation and maintenance plan that we approve periodically, or at least look at, right? Is this part of that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. I have a number of things about Eversource and rights-of-ways. Like one of them, they came and did an RDA for it. Other ones, they just send a letter. Other ones, I just got an email. So it's kind of.
Do they send that for all work or where they think there's impacts?
I'm assuming where they think there's impacts.
I think the
This is the-
vegetation maintenance plans, I think, are required for herbicide use through the Department of Agricultural Resources in the state. And I think this is probably related but different, is my guess.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've dealt with that stuff.
It's a tie-in bottom,
It is right next to the river though, so.
I know nothing about it.
Pretty hilarious.
It's okay.
Why don't we call and ask them if they do it for everything, or if it's just for stuff that we think is.
Well, that's related to the Holly Circle work they did.
Right.
Well, we did a site visit on the north side of East Street, but it seems like we didn't know anything of the work going on south of that.
Well,
Right.
and they cite the act here in the rest of the letter. And basically it says, activities conducted to maintain, repair, or replace, but not substantially change or enlarge an existing and lawfully located structure or facility used in the service of the public and used to provide electric, gas, water, sewer, telephone, telegraph is one of the things listed. Provided said work utilizes the best practical measures to avoid or minimize impacts to wetland resource areas outside the footprint of said structure or facility.
Well, they came to us for the north side of East Street because there were wetlands involved. I'm thinking they didn't come to the south side because they didn't think there were wetlands involved with that secret stream that comes down.
Well, it would be a difference between it being maintenance of right-of-ways, which is exempt, or improvements or something to that effect.
And
Yeah.
change it goes. So that might have been the difference. If there depends on the type of work. Because when I called them about it, they said that the work that they were doing was exempt and all they needed to do was send us this letter for the one that you're describing. And then this one, I'm assuming the case is the same, but I can call them and see.
Yeah.
I think it does fall under the exemption. I just can't remember how this relates to the management plan that we have. And maybe that you're right and it doesn't, because that's where it was asked.
Let's see. I mean, it is, they describe the project as vegetation management. Oh, here, Eversource Integrated Vegetation Management Program employs the wire zone, border zone method. Is that the same thing you're talking about?
Probably
Integrated
not.
Vegetation Management Program? It's not the same thing that we have with them. I don't know.
They were replacing poles and they brought in 200 tractor trailers.
Right.
That's not what I'm talking about either, though.
No?
No, there's a pretty thick operation and maintenance plan document that we see every couple of years, I think. We look at it. And I'm not even sure that we have to do anything with it. They may just send it to us for our information.
Yeah, I just didn't know why we had that site visit for the north side of East Street, because they were just replacing poles and needed to get up there, but there was wetlands up there, so that's why they came to us.
Yeah, it's confusing to me. I think that maybe it's because of the nature, there might have been like, they had to put in a crossing or something to get that there. Other areas, the crossing might already exist and they can just put down these temporary mats and it's fine, but in that area, they have to do something a little more permanent.
They needed to put stuff
Didn't
down
they
to
put,
get there.
they put gravel down or something?
Yeah, it was hard to get to,
Right, because it was on like a slope.
and they had to go up to Underwood too to get into the other side, so there were 2 visits.
Yeah. I'll try to get more clarification and give them a call.
Anything else, Cassie?
Yeah, so 2 more things. And we're done. And they're pretty quick. So one of them is just, this is very far off on the horizon still. But a gentleman named Hans Dahlhaus has been in contact with me. He's part of like a group that really enjoys off-road biking, or like, what's it called? Mountain biking, yes. So there is a property that used to be called the Burkowski parcel
Yes.
off Hendrick Street.
Yep.
Yep.
And apparently years ago, there was a bike trail created there. Then during the microburst, it got severely damaged, and Rich LeBombard fixed it, and apparently came before the commission. I don't know if anyone has any memory of that. That was kind of the main thing I was looking for, was what was the history that you guys knew of that. And now they want to update it to kind of change where the trails are. I'm not really sure. They don't have a set.
Yeah, I
like,
think he
plans that they
may
set.
have done some minor clearing too, but there's major things that they want to get out of the way. There's big trees that were in the way and
Yeah.
things they want to do real work that they would have to file or something like that. The
Okay.
things he did, I think, were more brush management and
Okay.
small things. That's
That's fine.
my memory, but if it looks like they're going to try to do improvements, then it's then it's
Yeah.
maybe, now you're in resource areas, you might have to file something.
Well,
It's
I
all-
was telling them, yeah, priority habitat.
Yes, all rattlesnake habitat, so that was the
Cool.
deal killer on really going much further with the trail improvements after the
Yeah.
microburst, because, we're kind of like, we support you, but, you'll have to
You
talk to
can't drive
natural
equipment up there
heritage.
to do anything.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
told them that, that I was able to tell right away. And there's also, it looks like a little tributary to the Broad Brook that goes through there, and then at the base is all wetlands. So it's, it's high elevations right along Mount Tom, and there's something, a lot of runoff situation going on there, it seems like to me. I told them they would definitely need to file, they'd have to go before National Heritage and get it all figured out with them. But it's definitely still in its infancy, and I think we own the property technically. So,
The conservation restriction or.
yeah.
What's the address?
It doesn't have an explicit.
It's like off Hendricks.
Yeah, it's off
the
Hendricks
hill.
Streets towards Mount Tom, and it's
There's a little plaque, if you go,
It looks like you're going back into somebody's backyard. It's a very narrow easement that gets you back into the parcel, and then it goes up the
Tom
mountain.
side of
Yeah.
Hendricks?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it goes straight up the mountain.
And I don't even remember where the microburst was.
Yeah.
He was just like, yeah, it's right there. That's
Oh,
like
right there.
through it. So.
Right. Pretty close to 141 as you come down.
I think
It
that easement is, the entrance is
Comes up
further
to
down.
41.
yeah, it goes all the way up to the top of the hill behind the restaurant and.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
for
really?
access, yeah, you're
Okay.
looking.
It's a little weird too, though, because there's multiple properties, and one is the Borachowski property
Right,
is
okay.
the Conservation Commission's, but then there's also a water department one that actually has use restrictions for water supply protection on it, so it's like, and it's probable that things sort of blend between the properties in ways that maybe they shouldn't, but sort of a fuzzy, vague history that goes back a long time.
Okay. And does anyone know when? So when Rich came before the commission, it wasn't a big file. Like, he didn't file. They didn't do like
No,
big
he
things.
didn't
So I won't
file.
be able to find like.
I don't
Historical.
believe there's anything, it would be minutes of a meeting, but that would be hard to track down at this point.
Yeah.
But-
Okay.
There was a map that Ashley's husband had generated, that might be in a file somewhere.
Yeah, there's definitely a map.
What year do you think that was?
Oh, it's on
What year was the
commission.
microburst?
Like
Oh, it was like
2015
right
or
after.
16.
Yeah, it was the spring after.
Okay. Okay.
It's definitely October.
Yeah, it should have been 15, I think.
And
There are definitely people who could tell you when the trail repair was done. I mean, I'm sure Rich knows.
Yeah.
Well,
Lots
that's
of
the thing.
people
I
in
asked him
Quebec
too for that
you know,
information.
when those reopened.
Yeah, but he just hasn't gotten back to me about. So I was like, oh, I'll ask you guys what you know about it. So, but yeah, it's interesting that the priority habitat. I didn't know what the species was or what National Heritage would say, so I don't know if that was how much of a hurdle that would be for them. So I'm not sure. But,
yeah, those are pretty rare snakes.
yeah, rattlesnakes, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, last thing, super quick. So this is a question that I got from Dan Murphy, and he sent it to Melissa and hadn't gotten a response yet, and I didn't know if you guys might be able to answer it, but I told him I would put it out there, and it's to do with stormwater bonds. So I'll just read you what it said. He said, I wanted to send a note related to performance bond amounts. The ordinance says they shall not be less than the total estimated construction cost of the stormwater management facility. On the two most recent estimates we've done, one for One Ferry Street and the next for River Valley, we included all components of the stormwater system, broadly defining stormwater management facility. I recently saw the Cumberland Farms bond amount was $37,000. Talked to Cassie about it, and though we couldn't find a breakdown of what was included, I suspect it may have only been for the infiltration portion of the stormwater system. I'm wondering now if we should be including treatment components in the performance bond rather than the entire stormwater system. And I didn't know what you guys had to think about that. Stormwater is I'm still learning a lot about that, so. And the bond situation.
I would think it would be everything,
So the more inclusive, the better, you're saying?
Yeah, treatment and pipes and catch basins and all that sort of stuff. I thought he did the one for that Cumberland Farms too, but I don't remember.
I mean, at Cumberland Farms, it certainly should have been the storm scepter systems in those pieces as well. If those weren't in there, that was an oversight.
I don't know.
And I don't think there's a lot else on that property besides the infiltration and that, was there? I don't remember there being, I think everything kind of drained to one side into that separator.
For which one?
For Cumberland
For
Farms?
Cumberland.
I think
I
it
don't
was
think
one
there were very many
big,
pipes
one
on that
big one,
property.
I thought.
Yeah, I don't remember. Probably, I mean, it's not that big of a site, really.
Right.
Yeah, I just remember one
And it was
big
all
gravel
curved,
pit.
and then I think it all runs to the, what would that be, the
Southern
south side.
corner, yeah, south corner, where he was gonna do a sewer hookup
Right.
across someone else's property.
Right. But, yeah, I think it should be all the pieces.
Yep. Okay.
All right, well, that was it for me. If anyone else has anything?
Do we have to do
Read it off.
the receipt of the notice of intent, Mass DEP file number 151, June 10, filed by Easthampton Park Solar 1
It's in
LLC,
there.
solar project by Shoot Terrace, map 165, lot 47, filed is April 10th, 2018, identifies the date of filing is Mass DEP. Filing will expire in 2 years on April 4th, 2020. It's coming up and will be removed at that time from the agenda.
Hooray.
Okay.
Anything else, anybody?
I make a motion.
Oh, wait, but there was a question about the Easthampton Rod and Gun Club at the last meeting.
That's
Is there
right.
Anything further on that?
I sent him an email explaining that they're gonna need to do an NOI, and the reasons why and all that stuff, and I have not yet heard back.
Okay. That's it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
No, you.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Oh,
Thank you.
Does anyone think